right, so, really proud about how the game ended. Again, you've heard it, that's a top 25 opponent. We all have injuries and things happen, so I know they played without their quarterback, but they still got a lot of good players in order to, win the Cotton Bowl and be a top 25 team and, go there and play. And to end the game on a 30-3 run. I thought it was 27. It's 30-3, I think. Says a lot about our players. We started slow, obviously. Maybe our players took them for granted, whatever it was. I do worry sometimes once you go out to warm-ups and see the star quarterback's not playing. Sometimes you have a letdown because you think things are going to be easy. So maybe some of that happened. But very proud of how they finished. Defensively played awesome in the second half. Outscored them, I think, 7-3. So and made some significant special teams plays. So was very concerned in game about our inability on third down to convert, our inability to run the ball. Was very unusual in our 4 years of being here. So they did a great job. They played really hard and played extremely hard, and we did not adjust very well and match their intensity in my opinion, up front. So, but we got out of there with a win, and now we got to get ready to come back home. And we restarted the home streak. We had one that was pretty long here for a while, one of the longest in the country, and screwed that up. So now this year we restarted one. So good to be back home, and hopefully our crowd will come out and give us a home field advantage. On that, I thought that our crowd was phenomenal there, to show up for a road game like that and to stay. At the end of the game in the fourth quarter, looked like late in the fourth quarter, like the whole stands was Ole Miss. So that was cool to see, and like we challenge our players with things. I know the Grove's awesome, they say, but it'd be nice if our fans would stay like that to the end of our home games too. So it was cool to see. It was really energetic. Kind of reminded me of the Egg Bowl 2 years ago at Mississippi State at the end of the game.
Questions? Kind of an off-topic question here, but Ole Miss fans have kind of expressed some kind of concern about Matt Corral and his whereabouts. I was wondering if you've had any contact with him over the weekend at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's really my spot to comment on, especially public like that. So appreciate the concern, but it's really not my spot.
Lane, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you and Brent Key together at one point at Alabama when you were there? And if so, what was he like, as a coach, and just, what do you know about him?
That's one of your questions where you know the answer and you knew we were together, but then you say, were you? Yes. He did a really good job. I've actually tried to hire him before at one point. Really good line coach, really good teacher, good recruiter, and he's doing a good job there.
Lane, are you concerned at all with where the run game is right now?
Yeah, I'm highly concerned. That's very unusual for us. Not just here, really anywhere. It's been a long, I don't even remember. This job, Alabama, FAU, I don't remember the inability to run the ball at all. So, like I said, they did a great job, but obviously that has a lot to do with us, and that's everybody, That's perimeter blocking, that's lineman execution, running back footwork, it's everything. Running the ball is not like throwing sometimes. Sometimes in throwing, I can be a good quarterback. Kyle will pretend is an athlete and a good receiver. Okay? Well, I can take the snap and he can run a quick route and us not block anybody and we can move the ball. Running's not like that. It takes everybody to have a really good running game. So we definitely look to improve there, and that's a major issue and one that I don't think anybody would have guessed.
Lane, Saturday, Jackson said he felt last year's team would not have made that comeback or won that game against Tulane. Did you kind of sense or feel that after the game, and is that a testament to kind of the proof of concept of where this team is 2 weeks in?
Yeah, you probably got that from me. I said that in the locker room. obviously don't have analytics to prove that, but I did feel a difference, that may have not happened a year ago. And I just really felt during the game, like the offense was struggling and the defense's attitude, like after the one turnover, or after a third down stop, was like, all right, we got you. It was we got your back. We really challenged them before the game. We tried to match what the other team supposedly does really well. And everybody said how hard Mercer played, And so we told them, let's play harder. And then with these guys, the whole thing was Tulane does a great job playing as a team. Unselfish, really plays well as a team in order, to beat USC. And remember that team at this time a year ago, I think went into Kansas State and won. So the year before went into Oklahoma and took them to the last play. So I thought it was cool that they did play as a team, come together in the second half, and like I said, go on a 30-3 run. So I certainly don't know that would have happened a year ago.
Aiden Wade had a big performance. What was it like to see him step up after Trey Harris went down?
It was huge because we were not moving the ball really well. There was a feeling, when Trey went out, something changed. I wouldn't have thought that big of a whole offensive drop-off, but for whatever reason, basically, we'd scored every time in every possession all year he was in. I think we punted one time the week before, but he was already out of the game at that point. So all of a sudden, we can't move the ball. So there was a feeling of that. D-Wade did a good job stepping up. Now we need other guys to do that too.
Kind of following up on that, obviously several pass catchers at this point have had injury problems. What's your level of concern, I guess, with that at this point?
Yeah, I think that game got challenging when you think about you're playing without, a tight end that had, come into the season through training camp and stuff, arguably one of your most important players on your entire team, how well he was playing in all areas, including the run game, to help with the run game. And then Trey, who'd had, 5 touchdowns through a game and one drive, goes out. So that, that's guys got to step up.
Coach, how important was Isaac Uku's performance, and what type of depth does he provide moving forward?
Yeah, that's a very late addition, and he's done a really good job. And that's, our challenge to our guys nowadays is sometimes when you go places in the portal world, it's not the exact thing you wanted it to be. Every one of these guys isn't going to start and play every play, and be the featured player. So I continue to try to spotlight these guys to the rest of the team that, they just seize their opportunity, whether that's 10 plays or 70 plays.
Back to kind of the concern of the run game. When looking at the film, what issues did you see maybe the O-line having, especially in that first half, with just trying to get anything going?
They did a lot of movement up front. We didn't handle it very well, created negative plays, and, didn't finish things. They came off of blocks and made plays, or we didn't turn back when we should have. And, they were very aggressive in what they did defensively after that first series.
You mind me saying I thought you were crazy when you tried to kick that 56-yarder and made it. I mean, position of you were one touchdown ahead, right?
Yep.
You kicked that. What made you get that feel?
There's that question, the answer to thing again. That was, he had the range, and actually we took the win at halftime. We took the win for the fourth quarter. So in case we had a late field goal, we'd have the win. And there was a very big difference in warmups. He actually was kicking the ball and making it further than that direction. So when it came up, it was a chance to basically end the game, most likely, unless they go score and onside kick. You got a chance to kind of end the game there, and he'd made those. So, yes, they could get the ball right there, but you can go for it on fourth down and get stopped too. You actually, analytics are you should not punt no matter what right there, because you have a likelihood of a touchback and a whatever would have been 19, 17-yard net punt. So when you have a chance to end the game, you either kick the field goal to go 2 scores or you go for it. So had he not had that range, we actually would have gone for it and not punted either. Punting would not make a whole lot of sense, even though traditionally over years as fans and media, that's what you would probably expect to do there.
We've mentioned the struggles with the run game. Do you feel like teams are keying on the run more this year, which is opening up the pass in a way that maybe it didn't last year?
Yeah, I think for sure that happens. Anytime you have, running back that has 1,700 yards and leads the SC in touchdowns, people are going to off-season scheme to stop you in the run game. And I think in the first game we threw for more yards than any team in the history of the school. So, yeah, there's another side of it too. And, we believe in running the ball here from a philosophy standpoint because I actually think a lot of people would, in that game, you're struggling so much, and we do have success throwing, would not run near as much as we did and just say it's one of those games where they're loading the box and we're going to throw the ball 60 times. So that's just not what we believe in doing.
Coach, follow up to Chuck a little bit. Just talk specifically about Caden Davis and what he brings to this program.
Yeah, and the touchbacks are huge, and your coverage units and setting the tempo or placement. We placed the kick deep right, which is hard to do for a kicker, where we, I think, got him at the 10-yard line, where made a huge play, Tennyson, to pin him deep there. So, that's been he's done a great job.
Kind of going off of that again a little bit, Jackson Dart joked after the game just about silent blessings because of the false start that happened before that field goal was hit. Was there any dialogue with whoever false started in that play that, hey, it may have worked out this time, but just don't do it again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't overlook things just because you win. That was a big part of the meeting this morning. Guys, you can't overlook because you win things. Because when you lose, then they get magnified. And then you say, hey, the tight end's supposed to be on the ball over there, and because he's moving late, we get a penalty. And let's say you make that sneak, but it gets called back and you miss the kick and lose the game. So, yes, we magnify those things, and it's, I believe, something you have to do, or else it's very overlooked when you're winning games.
You said a couple questions ago that, you could have maybe thrown the ball 60 times, but you didn't because that's not what you believe. Why is that the case? What do you believe that made you continue to run the ball and value that so highly?
I just kind of, whether it's right or wrong, I look at things in the big picture, of a whole season also. And I think once you go that route to submitting to, okay, hey, we're going to throw when you load the box no matter what, you can get off balance. Your quarterback takes more hits. You may have more yards, but your RPOs don't work as well. So, and it keeps more balance in your room, of players and where the ball goes too, because it'd be very challenging for a running back come back 1,700 yards and only have 4 carries or something in the game.
Lane, I'm going to guess that you have so many new people, this won't be something you have to address, but is it something you have to think about that you guys dominated this opponent the way you did last year, and then you have such a big game coming up next week that this is a bit of a sandwich emotionally?
I don't think so. I think that normally, like you said, would be a major issue, but half these guys weren't here. I mean, look at our starting defense. So I think nowadays the year before doesn't mean hardly anything, and especially in this case.
What's your first impressions of Tech?
I think the quarterback's playing well. I think they do run a good offense that presents some challenges, and they look better on defense. So they look like they're playing better than they were a year ago.
Coach, talk about DeAndre Prince. 2 huge plays down the end zone where they could have scored a touchdown and tightened things up, and then an interception return.
Yeah, I thought Prince played really well. Had some injury just week and a half, 2 weeks ago, leading into the first game. So wasn't really at full strength, and I thought he made some really good plays and was really good timing to see.
Yeah, I mean, going on the Georgia Tech theme, just what's it going to take to have a similar result to last year, this game?
Well, I mean, we got to win the game. So to think of a similar result to whatever 50-0, whatever it was, is I have high expectations. That's a little unrealistic. So we got to go win the game. These guys are playing good. We have a lot of stuff to work on and a lot of challenges. And like I said, I hope we have a really cool environment, you know, that the fans come out. I really commend the student section our last home game. I think they said that's the highest number of students we've had at a game, including like Alabama a year ago. So especially the freshman class. So that's really cool. Hopefully the rest of our fans can show up too. All right, guys, thanks.